Welcome back to Banging the Can, the Houston sports podcast that does not apologize for championship rings and tings. I am your host, Ross Bolen, and I am officially just going to stop getting excited about things. I got excited for the Houston Cougars and congratulated them after they had won, 14 basketball games in a row, and they immediately snapped their streak and dropped back-to-back games for the first time in more than 5 years. I also got excited for Rockets rookie Jalen Green to crush the 2022 dunk contest, and the kid completely forgets how to dunk a fucking basketball. This is why we can't have nice things. Do they not have tryouts for the dunk contest? I literally tried to look it up, and all it says is that players are invited based on, quote, the creativity and artistry they have displayed in dunking over the course of the season. Most of us would literally commit crimes, even kill, for the ability to dunk a basketball just once, especially the whites who can't jump, like me. So for these alleged gifted dunkers to come out and miss dunk after dunk with weak attempt after weak attempt, it just ends up feeling like a slap in the face. And most of us tune in to sporting events in an attempt to escape from the stressors of everyday life, to be reminded that there are people out there achieving greatness via athletic accomplishment while we eat garbage on our couches. So to tune in and find ourselves watching failed attempt after failed attempt after failed attempt just clang, 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 to the point that Shaq is visibly upset, to the point that Kareem gets up and walks out during Jalen Green's 7th attempt in the first round, is truly despicable. I left the 2022 dunk contest more depressed than I was before it started. That is the opposite of entertainment. And sadly, this is nothing new. The dunk contest has been a mess for a long, long time. It is a total crapshoot, a coin flip. Either you're about to witness one of the coolest things you've ever seen in your life, which is sometimes the case with the dunk contest, or the entire overdone production is legitimately an embarrassment to the entire NBA as a league, like the 2022 Slam Dunk Contest. Rookie Rocket Jalen Green, who did not make it out of the first round in the 4-player field after being the heavy favorite to win going in, spent nearly 5 minutes on his first dunk because it took him not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, 9. It took him 9 tries before he finally got a pass from teammate Josh Christopher that he could work with and sent home a windmill dunk. It took so long that NBA Hall of Famer Kareem Abdul-Jabbar literally got up from his seat and called it a night. That was not a joke I wrote for fun. That is an actual thing that occurred. It's pretty much the worst case scenario. If you're a rookie, you've dreamed of getting to the NBA your entire life, you've had kind of a rough rookie season, you're losing most of your games because your team is tanking and rebuilding, and then you make the dunk contest. And you're so bad that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar says, fuck it, I got to go to the bathroom. I'm not going to miss anything here. And leaves. Now, Jalen did manage to do a better job on his second dunk, taking only 3 attempts to pull off a reverse 360 and putting the ball between his legs before he slammed it home. Maybe the best dunk of the night, honestly. But at that point, the first dunk had gone so horribly wrong that he had already soured himself in the eyes of the judges. And in maybe only the more depressing moment, the only one that could possibly outdull Jalen's horrifying attempts, was when Toscano Anderson tried to do the famous Vince Carter arm in the hoop dunk to kickstart the finals, but he did not get high enough to pull it off. which pretty much encapsulated the entire 2022 dunk contest as an experience. It was trash. Absolutely terrible. I mean, it literally came down to who could more consistently dunk a basketball. Not in like a fancy way even. Just period. Just get the ball to go through the rim. That's what we were looking at. Jalen Green did look the flyest in his City Center, or City Edition jersey rather, the old pinstripe suit. But in the end, the only memorable thing he brought to this dunk contest was being the butt of the joke for Twitter, as he was absolutely roasted to death online. And if there's one thing I can't stand more than losing, it's being the laughingstock of the entire internet. Something that, frankly, I have some level of experience with. Despite the jokes, Green said he plans to redeem himself by returning to the contest next year. Why? I almost don't even want him to. The dunk contest is bad juju. They can't get a single A-lister to even commit to this abysmal shit show anymore. I genuinely think Dwight Howard and Nate Robinson might have been like the final straw that destroyed the dunk contest forever. With the Superman and coming out of the telephone booth and using each other as props in their own competition against one another. That was the last time I can remember being like really hyped for the dunk contest beforehand, and then just being like, Jesus God, are we really just going to focus on these two? Like it was just like a given that we were looking at Dwight Howard versus Nate Robinson. The dunk contest needs to be more self-aware. Like, I don't know how it can accomplish this, but it's not my job to come up with solutions. I'm just here to point out problems. And one of the problems is the duality of the event that I have already spoken to, that we all know it's either going to be a total bloodbath that makes us all wish we'd done something else with our time, or it will be such an entertaining spectacle that anyone who didn't watch live feels bad about it and then spends all day scouring social media for highlights the next day. Like maybe they need to hire a comic, like a disgraced comic, like Louis C.K., to VJ this thing and just roast the dudes who miss all their attempts, because no actually successful comic that is hot right now is going to do this. Just like no actually A-list NBA player is going to participate in the dunk contest. But the dudes who miss all their attempts need to be roasted by someone live in the moment that is trained comedically. As funny as it is to see Shaq look like he wants to die as he watches the thing, but I digress. So aside from the embarrassment of our number 2 pick in last year's draft shitting the bed on national TV, the Rockets also lost all 3 of their games last week, getting ripped by the Utah Jazz 135-101, destroyed by the Los Angeles Clippers 142-111, but somehow managing to hang on tough with the league-leading Phoenix Suns 124-121, at least keeping it entertaining while stacking another L, which I would argue is the goal. So it wasn't all bad, Rockets fans. We have at least kept the tank alive. And that makes it 7 straight losses for the Rockets. They're 1-9 in their last 10 and have opened up a 3-game cushion over the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are 18-40, who are 4-6 over their last 10, for the 3rd worst record in the league. And remember, the odds from 3rd worst to 4th worst record falls from 52.1% to 48.1%. for a top 4 pick. And again, the drop from 4th to 5th is the devastating one. That's 48.1% to 42.1%. The Rockets now have a 5-game cushion on the Pacers, who are 20-40, for that spot. We are going down, and things are looking up. Today's episode of Banging the Can is brought to you by Trade Coffee. 90% of coffee from the grocery store is actually stale. You heard that right. The coffee you know and think you love needs an upgrade, but instead of rebuying the same old, let Trade Coffee send you something freshly roasted that you're literally guaranteed to love. Trade sells the freshest roasted and ethically sourced beans from America's best independent roasters. They ship free to you as often as you'd like, whole or ground, Whether you're a coffee nerd or just want a better daily cup, Trade's real coffee experts taste test over 400 different roasts and use technology to match you to your ideal coffee based on your preferences and brewing method. You just take the coffee quiz to get started. Trade Coffee guarantees you'll love your first bag or they'll replace it for free. Trade has been featured by the New York Times, Wired, GQ. They have over 5 million bags of coffee delivered. Their subscription is no hassle. Skip shipments, change your frequency, or cancel at any time. I mean, it's an incredible experience. I went through, took the quiz. They sent me 2 different bags already. They're both the most delicious coffee I have ever had for myself at home. Just next level. It's like being at a great coffee shop and getting some stuff brewed up for you right then. So go take the quiz, see the results. And for our listeners right now, Trade Coffee is offering a total of $20 off your first 3 bags when you go to drinktrade.com/BTC. To get started, take their quiz at drinktrade.com/BTC, as in banging the can, and start your journey to the perfect cup today. That's drinktrade.com/BTC for $20 off your first 3 bags. In other news, Karl Anthony Towns, Minnesota Timberwolves center, won the 3-point contest at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse on Saturday night. He had a record-setting 29 points in the final round. Very impressive. Edged out Atlanta Hawks guard Trae Young and LA Clippers guard Luke Kennard, who each put up 26. Towns was 13-1 odds to win the 3-point shootout. The longest odds in the field. What an upset. It's the opposite of what Jalen Green did. He's the first big man, Cat is, to win the 3-point contest since Kevin Love in 2012. That's a 10-piece ago. That's a decade, brother. At 6'11", Towns is the second tallest winner of the contest ever. Dirk Nowitzki, 7 foot, won in 2006. Shouts to Dirk. And here's to hoping that Alperen Şengün is winning the 3-point contest by 2025. Maybe that's our next thing to look forward to as Houston Rockets fans. In other unfortunate but not unfamiliar news, Phoenix Suns guard Chris Paul will be out for the next 6 to 8 weeks with an avulsion fracture in his right thumb, according to a source that confirmed with ESPN. Obviously a huge blow to the Suns, who, again, we hung tough with last week. Best team in the league from a record standpoint, and it knocks their all-star floor general Chris Paul out for the vast majority of the remaining regular season schedule and potentially part of the first round of the playoffs. But it's Chris Paul. And while he has done a much better job, apparently, of taking care of his body and keeping it in shape during the offseason and being ready for the late stages of the NBA season and the playoffs, that's a big L. That's a big, big loss for the Phoenix Suns. The regular season, by the way, ends 7 weeks from yesterday on Sunday, April 10th. And then the playoffs begin on April 16th for the NBA, which I guess at the very least we can say we're happy that the league is functioning. Not the case with Major League Baseball. So to close out the show with the most depressing information of all, for the first time in nearly 30 years, labor unrest between Major League Baseball's owners and the Players Union has forced the MLB to announce Friday that spring training games will not start until March 5th at the earliest, delaying spring training. The league has told the union that regular season games will be postponed as well, unless the two sides can agree to a new collective bargaining agreement by February 28th. That is 7 days from today. That means the league and players union have a week, this week, of in-person meetings to hammer out a deal and avert what MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred recently said would qualify as a, quote, disastrous outcome. The cancellation of regular season games for the first time since 1994, which for those of you who are alive, was shit. It sucked. I was like, 7 years old, and I still remember how upset my dad was. You take baseball away from the olds, they get very upset, and I am creeping ever closer to being one of them. I need that calming sound of nothingness happening for 20, 45 minutes at a time before somebody gets a hit and wakes me up from my nap. I've said it before, watching baseball and golf, one of the only two things that can get me to nap. And now, baseball, potentially, at the very least, being postponed. If we lose regular season games, then we're staring down the barrel of another season with a fucking asterisk next to whoever wins it. It's just ridiculous and annoying. And now we're looking at a week. This started months ago. So fingers crossed, but call me a skeptic if you will. I don't see a week of in-person meetings going very well if months of talks have led to nothing but a delay in spring training. Ugh. So here we are, with an MLB lockout looming, a Rockets team tanking, a Texans team who has no clue when this Deshaun Watson era is or will even end. And it sucks. But I lied. I'm not ending today's show with the most depressing information of all. I'm ending it with the happiest information of all. And that happy news is that Alex and Reagan Bregman are expecting their first child this summer. And Lance McCullers Jr. became the godfather of Carlos Correa's baby over the weekend. And LMJ and Breggs and Carlos were all cage-side together at UFC 271 on Saturday night at the Toyota Center. So I'm saying there's a chance. You have to feel good right now if you're one of the people that was like me, heavily doubting that there was any chance Carlos Correa would return to the Astros. After months of silence, and really all of us only being able to tune into what's going on with him on social media, these three things combined feel like a good omen. Breggs is Preggers. Oh, surely they're playing with that. They got to have a hashtag going. Preggers, Breggers. I don't know. That's as far as I can go with it. But Preggers. Lance McCullers is the godfather of the Correa baby. And the boys are all sitting together cage side enjoying themselves at UFC 271. If that's not a good sign, then we don't have any. Hit bolenmedia.com/shop to grab a Banging the Can dad cap or t-shirt. Maybe grab one for Bregman since he's going to be a dad. Send him that. Follow us on social media at Banging the Can on TikTok, at Banging the Can on Instagram, at Banging the Can on Twitter. Check out Bolen Media's F1 brand. If you're into F1, if you're a big F1 fan, follow at Formula Bone on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, and listen to the Formula Bone F1 show hosted by my co-host on the Ross Bolen podcast, Jared Borislow, hosting the Formula Bone F1 show, discussing everything you need to know, keeping you up with the latest as the new season of F1 approaches, starting in March on the 18th, I believe. That is next month, less than a month away. First race of the new season of F1. So go listen to the Formula Bone F1 show wherever you listen to Banging the Can. Support our sponsor today, Trade Coffee. To get started, you just go take their quiz at drinktrade.com/BTC and start your journey to the perfect cup. That's drinktrade.com/BTC, and you'll get $20 off your first 3 bags just for listening to Banging the Can. I will be back soon. I am Ross Bolen. Follow me everywhere at WRBolen on Twitter and Instagram. If you like video games, I'm on Twitch a lot at twitch.tv/BossRollin. That's Ross Bolen with the B and the R reversed. Playing a lot of Apex Legends and Halo if you want to tune in for that. Be back soon. Until then, H-Town, stay down.